back to my channel. In today's video, I will be showing you how I just want to show you how I formulate my black soap, how my black soap look like. So in Maishacosmetics, this is how our black soap looks like. So I'm done formulating. So this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. So in this video, I'll also be telling you five possible reasons why your black soap smells awful. Like, I used to get these messages always, especially from young formulators. They will say their black soap looks and smells awful after some days. Some will say after 1 week, some will say after 5 days. So just different complaints about how the black soap turn out to be after a while. And most of the complaints is the smell. Sometimes they also complain about the separation, that the water will go to one side and the black soap will go to one side. Yes, that's the separation. That's on that. I'll do video regarding that next time. But today I'll be talking about the reason why it smells. Normally, after producing this black soap, after formulating it now, it smells nice. Yes, they even say even when they not that they don't put fragrance. Some will say they also they use fragrance, but at the end of the day, they still experience the same thing. So one person told me one time that just for 5,000 kg black soap she formulated, that she used 300 ml of fragrance, and after 1 week the black soap still started smelling. She was not like, wow, what happened? So just listen, watch the end. Let me start one after the other. So the first reason why your black soap smells bad is because we don't use preservative. Yes, many people believe that because it's black soap, they don't need to preserve it, don't need to add preservative. No, you must add preservative because you are using water, and because since you've introduced water, you would need to add preservative. Another reason why you need to add preservative is because some will also say black soap is already they believe that black soap can preserve itself. Yes, it can, because it has a very high pH. There is no organism that can survive under a pH of 13-14, which black soap normally comes with that pH. That's when you before you start formulating the black soap, when you dissolve it and check the pH, you will see that it's within that range. It's either 12, 13 or 14. You understand? But when you start formulating it, the first thing you do as a formulator is to reduce the pH, because the pH of 14, the body, you can't use, it's not advisable to use a pH of 14 on the skin. Yes, it's not advisable. It will do more harm than good. The first thing you will notice is the dryness of your skin. Your body will become so dried, and you don't want to use product that will dehydrate your skin, and thereby you start feeling one kind, your body will start feeling dried, and the next thing, when your body is dehydrated, you know what happened. So nobody wants to experience that. So you have to use preservative. It's very necessary to use preservative because you have reduced the pH, and secondly, you are using water. And the only way you will not need to use preservative is when you use only honey. That's when you do not use water. And when there is no water, so the organism will not have anything to feed on. So definitely you will not need to add preservative, because you do not add water. And you also be sure that The other things the active you use for that product is just a hundred product. You use only a hundred actives. You do not use, maybe for example, you do not use kojic acid, rather you use kojic dipermeate. So because that one is oil soluble, so you do not use anything water to dissolve your product. So if you will need to introduce water, then you must add preservative if you want it to last, and if you want to avoid that smell in your black soap. And the reason number two why your black soap smells also is because you are using too much of water. Yes, if you don't want your black soap to smell bad, then you have to minimize water as much as possible. You see some people's glass soap, it will be so light, even when they are producing paste like this. You can see, it's very hard to fall off from my hand. You see, it's very thick. So the water I use in this product is not equal to 1 kg. Because because it's much, and I don't know when I will finish selling this. So I just don't want it to smell bad. That's one reason why you have to minimize the water you use in your black soap. Yes, you have to minimize the water, and if possible, you can even use honey. Just use your honey to dissolve. And I have some complaint from somebody sometime, and the girl was telling me that if she want to dissolve, if without water, that she would have loved to make product without water, black soap without water, I mean, but she find it difficult to dissolve it without water. That when she pour the honey will not dissolve the black soap on time. Yes, because it takes time. Even you can decide to use very little water to dissolve your product, but you have to follow the process first. The way it's big, you don't just put it inside your bowl, then you pour water, you pour the little water. First, you have to reduce it to small chunks. You have to break it very well, so that even when you add little water, it will be easy for the water to penetrate inside the black soap. Then you break it. After breaking it, then you soak it with a little water. You stir it. You have to do that for 2 to 3 days first, before even thinking of blending. But if you do that, if you soak it with a little water, that water will absorb. Then the next day you come again, you mix it up, you break it with your hand using, like, you wear your hand gloves, then you break it very well. If possible, if you have a little pasting, you use it to break the black soap. Then it will dissolve fast, even with the little water you put. So that's it. Even when you don't use water, you can do the same thing with honey. Honey can penetrate, can dissolve black soap very well. And you don't need to pour the whole honey, the honey that is more than your based on the formula you wrote. So you don't need to pour the honey that is more than the percentage you wrote in your formula, because you want it to dissolve fast. Just put the little you wrote in your formula and watch it dissolve, because you have to wait for this. So that's the reason why I say black soap is not something you just wake up and say, I want to start and I want to finish up today and I want to package everything today. No, it takes time. Sometimes I use this black soap, I've been formulating it for the past 1 week. Yes, I use like 4 days to soak it, because I soak it with very little water. And before I even started processing, after blending, I noticed that some parts of some parts were still very hard. So I left it for another 2 days. You can see how soft it is. You can see. So, and there is not much water. And the third reason why your black soap smells bad after a while, after formulating, is because of what you pour inside. Yes, some people have this mindset that watermelon, pineapple, all those things, they are good for the body. Yes, they are enzymes. Like pineapple, it has bromelain enzymes. It's good. It exfoliates the skin very well. But if you cannot afford the one that has been done properly, that's the bromelain enzymes or the papain enzyme, you decide to use the natural one, Then you do it the right way. You can make a glyceride, or you can also infuse herbs. Infuse herbs. Instead of just pouring it inside, pouring the pineapple inside, that's the raw pineapple. No, just make an infusion or a glyceride, so you are sure that that will not contaminate the blacksoap. Just say for instance, if you juice your pineapple and you took some out of it, the remaining one you put it on the table till the next day, how will it look like when you open it the next day? It will smell bad. Yes. So that was the difference between you pouring it inside the blacksoap and after some days you don't well, then you also expect it to smell out of the pineapple, out of the blacksoap, I mean. So that's the thing, that you just need to use the same ideology. Something that is raw. Even if you pour it inside blacksoap, it might not, sometimes it might not even show up immediately, but with time you start feeling it. And before, what you need to know about this, about blacksoap, is that though when you start feeling, when you start feeling when you start smelling, when it starts smelling, just know that that soap is contaminated. And some people might use it and it will react on their skin. Yes. Some people now don't use this, but some people will say, I use this person's glass soap and I started having reaction, I started having this, I broke out with eczema, with pimples and all that. Yes, because of the method, of the way it was formulated. Normally, black soap is supposed to be a very good soap for the body. So if you don't formulate it, if you don't follow the due process, you will have the opposite. Yes. Another reason why another thing, let me also add. Some people even add tomatoes. Yes. Some people add tomatoes, some people add milk, some people add raw egg. So what do you expect? Because it's black soap, because it's soap, doesn't mean you just put anything in your black soap. If you really want to add those things, if you really want to add those nutrients, there are ways you do it. One beautiful way is to make a glyceride of those products. So one of these days I will do a video on how to make glyceride. I will do a video, a very short video, on how to make glyceride with fresh fruits. So maybe by then you understand better. Another reason why your black soap will smell bad, or why it's smelling bad, is because you are not using distilled water. Some people just think that it's black soap, I don't necessarily need to use distilled water. So any water they just see, they just use it. Once that water is contaminated, normal water is even contaminated. When you use microscope, you will see little particle. Even when you boil that water, you will still see very little. Yes, because everywhere is dirty. Once you put that water down, before as you open that water and you don't close it, before you know it, bacteria will enter. There is bacteria everywhere. There are bacteria everywhere. I mean, there is one bacteria or the other hiding, looking for where to enter. So the bacteria are all over. So when you think that water you think is clean, because you are seeing it with your plain eyes, it's clean. When you use microscope to check, you will see that that water is contaminated badly. So that water now, you use it to formulate your black soap. It will start to the organism will start to multiply inside that soap. So when that happens, with time, the first thing you notice in that black soap is the smell. It start smelling bad. So then people will say, I don't know what happened to my black soap. Yes, it's contaminated. And the best thing is just to look for a way out. And sometimes it might not be, it might be something you can resolve if it's not contaminated with organism. So sometimes other things can make it smell bad, even if it's not, even though it's not the black soap is not contaminated. For example, this is another reason. The ingredients you use too can also make your soap to smell bad. This is the reason number 5. But I will just add one bonus at the end. So the reason number 5 is because of some ingredients you use. Like neem oil now, the soap might not be contaminated. Yes, it might not be contaminated. Maybe you use distilled water, you use preservative, you've done all, everything I've mentioned, you've followed all the procedure. The whole procedures has been followed properly. But the soap still ended up smelling bad. So you have to check. You have your formula with you. You have to check, what did I use in this black soap that might result to this. For example, if you use neem oil, neem oil has this very awful smell and some essential oils. You understand? So maybe you really need, you formulating an acne black soap and you really need to add neem oil. So you have to also put that into consideration because it will smell bad. And let me tell you one thing about neem is very powerful. When you use too much of neem oil in your product, you use preservative, it will look as if, okay, the preservative has overpowered the smell, that's the odor of the neem oil. But after a while, you start feeling the smell. You start the soap will start smelling again because neem is very powerful. Neem is very powerful. So it's unlike other products, other essential oils, other oils that, oh, it's like this, it's like that. Neem is very powerful. It's the smell is so powerful. And once you know, you need to know about perfumes or those fragrances, that it evaporates into the air. After a while, it will just gradually leave the product. So that's when the power of the neem will start to display. You understand? So you have to put that into consideration. Neem is not the only product that have that smell. There are so many products too that have that smell, that have that awful smell. So you have to consider those things when choosing your formulas. So when you want to choose a formula, you have to choose, you have to also put the smell into consideration, because if not, you will end up messing up your product and you will not like it. And you might also use it, but when you know that, okay, this product it has this smell, you will know how to minimize, you know how to minimize the quantity you use in your product, and you know you have to use very little. So finally, another thing you need to know is that the last reason now, there's a bonus I said, is that neem, you need to use fragrance. You need to consider the fragrance you use for your product. You have to get a very good fragrance. Some people will just go buy any fragrance and pour it. They have cheap, and those cheap fragrance, very cheap, when you pour it, it will look as if it works. Under 2 days, everything will evaporate. So when you want to use, you need a very strong perfume for your black soap. You understand? So to suppress the smell, because normally black soap don't really have this good smell. You get it has this smell but not bad. So you need a strong perfume to make it smell better, to make it smell good, and a perfume that will last. So for example, the only way you will have to option for that is when you are formulating for somebody who does not need fragrance in his or her product. You understand? You are formulating a fragrance free product, and when you're formulating for that person, you can also let the person know that, okay, I'm formulating this for you. You should expect little or mild smell, but not awful smell. So that's for that, and that's it. So finally, you get a very strong fragrance if you are formulating for normal people who can tolerate fragrance in their products. So you get a very strong one that will last. That like the fragrance I use in my product can last up to 2 months very well. When you open it, you look as if you just pour it immediately. So, but it's expensive. So when you have to invest in good fragrance for your black soap. That's all for today. I hope you enjoy it. So if you have any question, please put it in the comment section, and please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so that anytime I upload, you know that I I've uploaded a new video. And also remember to click on notification bell so that I don't miss out in any of my videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. Look at it, is how my blacksoap look like. Netting now. I'll package, label,